Good morning, my dear students. In this video, I will teach you about the design of combined footing. This is semester 7, Mumbai University, Theory of Structure 7. Let us read the question. Design a combined footing for two columns C1 400 mm by 400 mm carrying 900 kilonewton load, column C2 500 mm by 500 mm carrying load 1600 kilonewton. Center to center distance between C1 and C2 is 4.5 meter. The column C1 coincides with the property line. The allowable soil pressure at the base of the footing is 240 kilonewton per meter square. Assume steel of grade Fe 415 and concrete of M20 grade in footing. So this is the question. What I would request you before proceeding further, you please sit down with a notebook and a pen, pencil and a calculator. Please note down the steps and the process as I am proceeding. Please note it down in your notebook and then you proceed further with my video. Then it will be effective for you in the learning process. So first of all, what we should do after reading the question, we should note down the given data. So what are the given data? Number 1, column C1 size is 400 by 400. Column C2 size is 500 by 500. Axial load carried by the column 1 C1, that is P1 is equal to 900 kilonewton. P2 that is carried by the column C2 is 1600 kilonewton. Center to center distance 4.5 meter. Safe bearing capacity of the column which is given of the soil, that is given as 240 kilonewton per meter square, and they have told use M20 concrete and Fe 415 steel. So whenever you read the question, first you note down the data, so it will be in short in front of your eyes that these are the given data. Now you can start with your design procedure. Let us write down the steps first. So please note it down in your notebook. It will be easier for you afterwards. So design of combined footing. Step 1 is, first step we should find out the depth of the footing. By depth we mean total depth as well as the effective depth, that is capital D and small d. Step number 2, we will find the reinforcement in the longitudinal direction. How we will do it? With the positive maximum bending moment, we will design the reinforcement at the bottom of the footing, and with negative maximum bending moment, we will design at the top of the footing, reinforcement at the top of the footing. Step number 3, reinforcement in transverse direction also we will do over here. So especially under the column C1 and column C2, they are with a certain bandwidth, we have to give a special reinforcement in the transverse direction. So that also we have to do. Here I just want to mention, if someone just goes through my video, so for them I just want to inform you, here I have not done the one-way shear check, I have not done the two-way shear check, because it is specially I have made this video for the architecture students for whom the basic of the structures is that is only needed. So the basic minimum I have covered it over here. It is not the entire design procedure that has been done by the civil engineering students. So here I have skipped 2 steps, that is the one-way shear check and the two-way shear check. Okay, now let us start with the step number 1. What is step number 1? The step number 1 is the find the footing base dimension. So for that, first we have to find out the total load P. So let us see how we proceed. See, the column, the axial load carried by the columns are given 900 and 1600, correct? Now with that we will add 10 to 15%. Here I have taken 15%, but generally it is 10 to 15%. You have to assume the weight of the footing and the backfill of the column loads. So total load will be 900, that is carried by the column 1, plus 1600, that is the load carried by the column 2, plus 15% of the total column load. What is the total column load? 900 plus 1600, 2500. Of that 15%, 15%. So 15% means 15 divided by 100. So I hope you have understood the first line calculation. So P comes out to be 2875 kilonewton. Here I would again like to remind you that while you are seeing my video, please pause at certain places and see that whether the answers are coming same using your calculator. That will give you a good practice, as if that you will simulate that you are sitting in the class and doing the problem as per the teacher's instruction. Okay, let us proceed further. Area of the footing, next step. Area of the footing, how we will find out? Total load divided by the shape bearing capacity of the soil. What is total load? 2875 divided by SBC, how much it was given? 240. So that will give us 11.98 meter square. Please see the unit over here. 2875 was in kilonewton. 240 was in kilonewton per meter square. So the answer will come in meter square. Now next is, you understand the concept over here, that how we arrive at the dimension of the footing. See, in order to have a uniform soil pressure distribution at the base of the footing, the resultant of the loads that should pass through the centroid of the footing. I repeat, you know what will be the centroid of a footing. Here we are designing a rectangular combined footing, correct? So for a rectangular combined footing, we know that what is the location of the centroid, where is B by 2 and D by 2, we know that. So that centroid of the footing and the resultant of the loads, they should coincide. For why? What purpose? To obtain a uniform soil pressure distribution. Okay, so as we are following over here, I will be following the limit state of method of design in my video. So you know that there we assume a load factor. So assuming the load factor as 1.5, the factored column loads will be P1 is equal to 1.5 into 900, that is 1350, and P2 is 1.5 into 1600, that is 2400 kilonewton. So this is our factored load as we are following the LSM, limit state of method of design. So what will be the resultant load? Resultant load will be 1350 plus 2400, that is 3750. This is the total load or the resultant load acting on the footing. And spacing between the column is given as 4.5 meter in the question. 4.5 meter means 4500 millimeter. That also we have written. So spacing between the column is 4500. Now understand this diagram carefully, that how I have drawn this diagram. Start from the left hand side. In the left hand side, I have shown the column C1. The size I have written 400 by 400. At a distance of 4500, I have placed the column C2, which is a 500 by 500. I have shown the load also, factored load, that is 1350 and 2400 from there. Just now we have found out, so that value also we have written. Now we have to find out the location of the resultant. So let us assume the resultant R is located at a distance X from the C1. So this is our assumption. And what is the point O over here? In the question, if you see, that was mentioned over here that the column C1 coincides with the property line. So that is the property line, that the point O. So now let us apply the Varignon's theorem, which we learned in TOS 1. That is that if the resultant is acting, resultant R is acting at a distance of x meter from O, now you take moment about O. So what will be that? R into x, that will be equal to 2400 into 4500. So from here we are getting the value of x is 2880 from O. So here what is the logic? That is, as x, that is 2880, it is greater than s by 2. What is the spacing? S is the spacing between the column, center to center distance between the column, that is 4500. So 4500 by 2 is how much? 2250. So as x is greater than s by 2, so here we should provide a rectangular footing. Now what will be the length? The length will be 2 multiplied by 2880 plus 200, that gives us to be 6160 millimeter. If you see the diagram below, there I have explained the value or each dimension over here. See, what is x? X is the location of the resultant from the point O. O is what? The boundary of the property line, correct? So that should be, of that, with that we should add 200. What is 200? See, C1 column size is 400 by 400. So we are taking the center to center, na? So rest 200 is also remaining. So that's why we have done 2880 plus 200. And why we have multiplied it by 2? Because to get the entire length of the footing, that is 6160, we have multiplied by 2, because 2880 plus 200, this is of one side, left hand side of the center line of the base of the footing. So with that, if we multiply it by 2, we get the entire length of the footing. So that comes out to be 6.16 meter. And how we can find out the breadth? Breadth is equal to A by L. What is the area? Area we have found out 11.98. So divided by 6.16. So that gives us to be 1.95 meter as the breadth. So here we will take breadth as 2 meter. 2 meter means 2000 millimeter. So you draw the diagram over here, and the length, as you have you can see over here, I have shown 6160 millimeter. That is the center line. Half the distance is 3080. So please note down the diagram and we will proceed further. Now let us see step number 2, load on footing per meter run. So W, how we will find? That is the factored load C1 and C2, that is 1350 plus 2400 per meter run. So what is the length of the footing? 6.16 meter. So that gives us to be 608.8 kilonewton per meter. This is the UDL which is acting on the footing. And how this will act? This will act in the upward direction as the UDL. Now next we have to find the maximum bending moment at the face of the column C2. So at the face of the column C2, there will be the positive bending moment. So how we can find it out? That is the W, 608.8 multiplied by 1.46 minus 0.25 whole square by 2. That gives us to be 446 kilonewton meter. That is 446 into 10 raised to 6 Newton millimeter. You see the diagram over here. Next slide I have shown you the SFD BMD also, but now you concentrate on the diagram. We are finding out the maximum positive bending moment at the face of the column C2. What is the dimension of the C2? 500 by 500, correct? So how we will find it out? So that is the W L square by 2, because that part will be acting as the cantilever projection. So 608.8, that is W. What will be the length? Length will be, total is 1.460, that is from the center line of the column C2 till the end of the right hand side of the footing. Total length is 6160. From there we can get this value now, 1460. That is what? 1.46 meter. Correct? So 1.46 meter minus 250 or 0.25 kahan se aaya? So from the 500 millimeter is the size. So half of that, that is 0.25. If we subtract this 1.46 minus 0.25, we will get the remaining value, and that square by 2. So W x square by 2, here W L square by 2. So we get the positive bending moment value. The negative bending moment value will occur at the where the shear force becomes 0. So how where the shear force will be 0? Because we know that from the basic concept that where shear force equal to 0, bending moment is maximum. So let us assume the shear force is 0 at a distance of x from column 1, that is the C1. So what will be the shear force equation? That is Wx minus P1. What is W? The UDL 608.8 into x minus P1. P1 is how much? 1350. So from here we are getting x equal to 2.21 meter from the column C1. So maximum bending moment mu minus that is the negative bending moment will be Wx square by 2 minus P1 into x minus 2. So if we put the value over here, we get the value of the negative or the hogging bending moment is equal to minus 1227 kilonewton meter. Please convert it into Newton millimeter by multiplying it into 10 into 10 raised to 6. Multiplied it by 10 raised to 6. Here you can see the shear force diagram and the bending moment diagram. As you can see that as I have just explained you earlier, the distance x from the column end of the column, that where it is 0, shear force equal to 0, at that point the bending moment is maximum. So here again I have drawn the beam. Please take a note over here. The UDL is acting at the base of the footing, so it is not acting downward but it is giving upward, correct, upward. So from here, so you can refer to this SFD and the BMD, and with this value we will go for the reinforcement detail in the next slide. Let us have a look at the reinforcement details, how we will find it out. First of all, we know that the flexural strength at collapse is mu lim, that is equal to 0.138 FCK BD square. See, I have given here the values, 3 values. For FE 415 I have given, then for FE 550 and FE 250. FE for 550 it is 0.139 FCK BD square, and for FE 250 it is 0.149 FCK BD square. Now these are the 3 formulae. You read the question, what value of steel they have told. So here they have told that you use FE 415. So we will take that equation. I have put a tick mark, that's 0.138 FCK BD square. So this value we have to equate with the maximum bending moment. So M max is coming as 1227, that is 1227 into 10 raised to 6. Here I should make you alert that please convert the unit properly. That we have got it in kilonewton meter, we have to convert it in Newton millimeter. So 1227 into 10 raised to 6, that is equal to 0.138 FCK BD square. Now what is FCK? FCK is the compressive strength of concrete. In the question it is given, use M20 concrete. So what is the value of FCK? 20, correct? And what is B? B is 1000. Here we do it per meter length, per meter breadth, per unit breadth. So B value is 1000 and D is the value of the effective depth. So if we solve the equation, we get the value of D as, that is the effective depth, as 667 millimeter. Now you use a clear cover of 75 millimeters. Sometime you can provide it as 60, 70 also. Okay, so here I am giving it 75 millimeter, and assume that you will use 20 millimeter diameter bar. So that decision you have to take over here, and after that you do it in the next step. So you assume that you will give 20 millimeter diameter bar. So overall depth will be how much? That is the effective depth plus clear cover plus half of the diameter of the bar, reinforcement bar you are providing. So 667 plus 75 plus half of the diameter, that is the 20 by 2. So that gives us to be 751 millimeter. Now for economic use of the steel, we generally increase this value by 25%. So if we increase the value by 25%, so it will be 1.25 times of the 751. That gives us to be 938.8 millimeter. So from here we have to take decision, and please box it like this way, because this will help us while we are going for the reinforcement detailing drawing. At that time it will be helpful. So please box it. Final decision is we will take overall depth as 950, 938.8 we have got. So let us take it as 950. And from here again you back calculate the effective depth, that is 950 minus 75 minus 20 by 2, that comes out to be 865 millimeter. That will be the effective depth D. Now let us see how to do the top reinforcement for the maximum hogging moment. Here see, this is the formula which you have to remember, and you have to be very cautious while writing down the formula. Percentage steel PT is equal to 50, then 1 minus under root of 1 minus 4.6 by FCK within bracket M by BD square, and bracket close, then FCK by FY. So I have put each an individual value over here and see, and please do the calculation carefully because there are a lot of 1 minus 1 minus and there is under root, so the calculation sometimes comes wrong and you will get a wrong answer. So FCK, you know, that is the M20 concrete, so 20. M is 1227 into 10 raised to 6. B is 1000 and D is 865. FY is what? 415. The steel we are using, so that gives us 0.51%. Okay, I would request you, please do the calculation so that you can have a practice over here. So this is greater than the PT minimum, percentage of steel provided in the code specified, IS code specified, it is 0.12%. That must be there, the minimum percentage of the steel, but here we are getting as 0.51. So it is correct. Okay, so that we have to write. Okay, it satisfies the criteria. Next step, area of the steel. How we can find out area of the steel? We can find out PT multiplied by B multiplied by D, capital D, overall depth. Okay, so PT value is 0.51%. So this will be 0.51 by 100. Then B is equal to 1000. Then it is, what is the value of D? 950. So it comes out to be 4826 millimeter square. So now as we have assumed that we will use 20 millimeter diameter bar, so area of one bar is pi by 4 into 20 square. So that is 314 millimeter square. So the number of bars we have to use. How we will calculate the total area required? By the individual area of one bar. So 4826 divided by 314, that gives 15.36. so we can assume it as 16. So what will be our conclusion? Our conclusion is provide 16 number 20 millimeter bar at top as the longitudinal reinforcement, and spacing also you can find it out by this formula. Spacing AC is equal to FI by AST into 1000, so that gives us 65 millimeter. Let us see the bottom reinforcement for the maximum sagging moment. See, here I want to tell you the steps and the formula, they are same, only thing the value of the moment changes. So if you have understood the last step, this will be the similar one, only the value changes. Formula goes the same way. What you have to do here, the M value is 446 into 10 raised to 6. So please take care about that. Rest everything remains same, because there we have the last step we have decided for the top reinforcement taking the maximum hogging moment value. Here we are doing for the maximum sagging moment we are designing the bottom reinforcement value. So let us see, PT comes out to be 0.17%, which is again more than the PT minimum, hence it is okay. So AST comes out to be 1615 millimeter square. Now see here, as the AST is little bit less than the previous AST. Previously it was 4800 something. Here it is, we are giving as only 1615. Let us use 16 millimeter diameter bar. But here I want to pause and tell you that if you want to continue with the 20 millimeter diameter bar as you have done for the top reinforcement, you can continue that also. So it is just up to the designer's discretion what type of diameter bar he or she will use. So I am using over here 16 millimeter diameter bar. Cross sectional area of one bar is pi by 4 into 16 square, that is 201 millimeter square. Number of bars is AST by FI, so 1615 divided by 201, that comes out to be 8. So what is our conclusion or decision over here? Provide 8 numbers 16 millimeter diameter bar as the bottom reinforcement, and underline it, box it, so that it helps us while we are starting the drawing of the detailing of the footing. In this part, I will design about the transverse reinforcement of the combined footing. So first of all, here what you have to do, you have to look at the diagram very carefully. That again I have drawn the diagram. The base of the entire footing is of width 2000, okay, and I have drawn the column C1, the size is 400, column C2, the size is 500. Now here I have shown the column strips as the transverse beam. Now for the transverse reinforcement, first we have to find out the bandwidth of bandwidth under each column C1 and C2. What do we mean by that? Let me explain. Let us start with the C1 column. Okay, so bandwidth under column C1, the formula goes like this way: width of the column plus 0.75 multiplied by the effective depth. So for C1 we will take it like this way. So width of the column is how much? 400 plus 0.75 into what is the effective depth? 865. That gives us to be 1048.75. That is, we can approximate 1050 millimeter. Now it will help you to understand what do you mean by bandwidth. See, for column C2, how we can find out? Again, the width of the column plus 2 into multiplied by 0.75 into small d. Why here we have used 2? As you can see the diagram, for the column C2, both side we have to add the 0.75 d, whereas in case of column C1 it is only one side 0.75 d. Why? Because the other side, other face of the column coincides with the property line, so there is no space to again provide a bandwidth. But as C2 column is inside the entire area or the base of the footing, there both side we can give the value of the bandwidth. So here this comes out to be 1800 millimeter. Now we will start about the design of the column strip as the transverse beam. Transverse beam under column C1. So first step is the same way we have done for the main or the longitudinal reinforcement. Now the same way we will proceed. If you remember or understood that one, it will be just the repetitive one. So the load per meter run, so will be 1350 divided by 2. What is 1350? That is the factored load carried by the column 1. And what is 2? 2 is the width of the footing, that is 2 meter we have assumed. So it is 675 kilonewton per meter. Now projection of the beam beyond the column C1, that is equal to 2000 minus 400 whole divided by 2. That gives us to be 800 millimeter or 0.8 meter. As you can see, the width of the footing is 2000 minus 400, that means one side of the column. So if we divide it, we will get it as 1600. Then half of that, that is the projection of the beam beyond the column. So that comes out to be 0.8 meter. Now this will act as a cantilever 1. So bending moment, maximum bending moment will be WL square by 2. What is W? 675. What is L? That is 0.8 square divided by 2. So we are getting as 216 kilonewton meter at the column face. Similarly, if we have understood it, we can do it for the column C2 also. So transverse beam under column C2 will be, how we will design it? Load per meter run, it will be 2400. That was what? The factored load of C2, column C2. 2400 divided by 2 means that is the width of the footing. So 1200 kilonewton per meter. Now projection of the beam beyond the column C2 face, again it will be 2000 minus 500 then divided by 2. That is 750 millimeter or 0.75 meter. So maximum bending moment, again it will be WL square by 2. So W is 1200 multiplied by 0.75 square by 2. So that is 338 kilonewton meter. Now we continue with the reinforcement detailing. So this is the repetitive as we have discussed previously for the main reinforcement. First we have to find out the PT, that is the percentage of the steel. So PT is equal to this formula you know. Now here you have to take care of one point. See, while we are designing the longitudinal reinforcement, the value of B, we have taken it as per meter. per unit meter, so B was 1000. But here in case while we are designing the transverse beam, so in this case B will be the bandwidth what we have found out. So first here I have found out for the C2 column, correct? So for C2 what was the bandwidth? 1800 millimeter, correct? And the rest all things are same. That means FCK is 20, Fy is how much? 415. What is M? Now moment under the column C2, how much we have got? 338 into 10 raised to 6, correct? What is D? 865. So from here we are getting the value as 0.0012, which is exactly the same as specified by the code. So okay, this is the minimum value anyhow we have to provide. And we are getting by calculation also this much value, so hence it is okay and we can proceed. So what will be AST? AST will be PT into B into D. So B is again 1800. What is D? 950, capital D overall depth. So here you take 12 millimeter diameter bar, and area of one bar comes out to be 113 millimeter square. Pi by 4 into 12 square, that is 113 millimeter square. So number of bars, how we will find out? 2060 divided by 113, so 18. So what will be our conclusion? Our conclusion will be provide 18 number 12 millimeter diameter bar under column C2, and you repeat the same procedure for C1. But see, here you pay attention over here in the exam also or in the designing also, you just put your concentration over here and attention that always you do not blindly just follow the steps and proceed. You just put your intelligence over here that moment value was 338 into 10 raised to 6 for the column C2 calculation, correct? Now for C1, we have got it as 216 kilonewton meter. So if we take 338 into 10 raised to 6 for column C2 and we are getting the value of PT as the minimum value, that is 0.0012, if we do the calculation of PT by taking moment value is 216, which is much less than 338, obviously the value of percentage still will come less than 0.0012. So we will not do the calculation again. Anyhow it is going to come less than 0.0012, and if it is coming less than that, by code we have to provide minimum 0.12% of the steel. Anyhow that value we cannot take the lesser value. If we are getting, definitely we are getting less value, so we have to design with the 0.12% of the steel, that is the minimum requirement. So directly we will do what? 0.0012 into 1050. Now just check over here the bandwidth is 1050, here it will not be 1800, and capital D is 950. So now I think you have understood that why I have done the calculation for the C2, calculation of PT for the C2 first, because we know that it is the greater one. Always we start with the greater one and see that how much it is coming, because it has to satisfy the minimum steel requirement value given by the code. So here we are getting as 1197 millimeter square. So the number of bars will be 1197 by 113. It comes out to be 11. So what will be our conclusion? Provide 11 number of 12 millimeter diameter bar under C1. So please note down this step and we will proceed further. Now the last part has come, that is the design or the detailing of the drawing. So before starting the drawing now, whatever calculations we have done in this entire session, so first we will write it in short. So reinforcement provided, longitudinal reinforcement, top reinforcement first we should write. There we have got 16 number 20 millimeter diameter bar. Bottom reinforcement we have got 8 number 16 millimeter diameter bar. And the transverse reinforcement, there we have got bandwidth of 1050 under column C1, and it was 11 number 12 millimeter diameter bar, and bandwidth 1800 under column C2. There we should give 18 number 12 millimeter diameter bar. So with this we can start the drawing. It will be easier for us. So here is the drawing. The total depth is 950. Now you can see that bandwidth I am reading it from the bottom of the page, that is 1050. It is the bandwidth under column C1, 1800 bandwidth under column C2. So within that part we have given C1 under the column C1. So there are 11 number of 12 millimeter diameter bars, and here 18 number 12 millimeter diameter bar. And now if we go and here also I have shown you the 8 number of 16 millimeter diameter bar as the main longitudinal reinforcement, and 75 I have shown as the clear cover. As you remember, I have taken it as 75, though you can take 70, 60, sometimes 80 also, no problem. So now let us go at the top reinforcement is 16 number 20 millimeter diameter bar. I have shown the column C1 and C2 with their size. 400 SQ means square. Center to center distance between two column 4500, and 1460 from the center line of the column C2 till the right hand side of the footing. So by this way you can draw the detailed reinforcement. I hope you have understood my video. So if you like it, please share it with your friends, and if you have any comment, any query, you can put it in the comment box, or you can mail me at the given email ID for your query. And please see my other videos for the semester 7, and also go to the playlist and see the topics for the gate architecture, where I have covered several subjects which will help you while you are appearing for the gate. Thanks for watching.